London must now look beyond municipal Darwinism.
The airborne cities, they have very different philosophies about how to live and how to survive.
The Anti-Traction League is a league of warriors that protect small cities.
We are the resistance. We are the powerless who are fighting back against the oppressive power of the world.
They're a group of the society that doesn't believe that cities should be rolling around consuming each other, and as a result they have been involved in several attacks on traction cities. All airships we know of in history were inflated with either helium or hydrogen. The technology we've had in the back of our minds is that by this time there's been a third gas that's been discovered that we don't know about today that's more efficient. We wanted to not be stuck in the world of Zeppelins and these massive big sausage-like balloons. We can make them small and sleek in a speedy kind of way.
I saw some of the concept art before I got on set. Wow, so beautiful and stunning and so intricate. It was really beautiful. It got me into the fantasy of it.
Welcome to Airhaven.
Airhaven is an interesting location because it's a floating town that just floats a few thousand feet up in the air and just drifts around.
When we arrived, it's sunset and it's glamorous and glorious. It's all rich blues and oranges and yellows, so it was really great. It's almost like a breath of fresh air for both the crew and the audience to suddenly have this weight lifted off us.
Airhaven is kind of like neutral territory, Casablanca during the Second World War, where people from all sides, the tractionists, the anti-tractionists, meet.
Tractionists might be sitting there with an anti-tractionist across the table there. You don't fight, you don't argue, you don't go to war. You know, it's like a sort of an uneasy peace. And the idea is you put your beliefs to one side and you just leave again without causing any trouble.
I imagined it as starting out as one large airship, and then gradually another gas bag has been added and the gondola's been extended. And by the time of Mortal Engines, it's become this great sort of higgledy-piggledy town held up by enormous clouds of gas bags.
An amalgamation of air gondola silks and the gondolas themselves become the buildings. So it's sort of like an airship graveyard, its own city in the sky.
What I like about Airhaven, from the way it was designed, is it's like a floating jellyfish.
With tendrils where ships come in and hook on, and I really wanted to get across the idea that the buildings and the structure itself is actually just made from recomposed ship hulls. They basically have flown and moored up, disassembled part of the ship. It got to a really interesting place.
10,000 feet up in the sky, it's hanging off these big helium balloons.
That was an amazing set. It was literally a little town that you could run around in and had shops and little homes.
Windfarm.
We decided to hang the whole thing from the ceiling of the studio. It's not sitting on the floor, it's constantly able to move around and hopefully give a floating impression.
Everything on Airhaven has to be built for really lightweight, so Dan created these sets that felt like they were solid to a degree, but if you look closely, the walls are fabric. Everything's sort of built in a way that helps it being as light as possible.
It was really tricky to work around. We had a lot of vertical cables, a lot of overheads, netting, things to make it look like it was all hanging suspended from these giant air balloons.
Our first concern was safety, of course, making sure everyone was safe, because the whole of Airhaven is supposed to tilt at a certain point when Shrike sets fire to Airhaven, and the whole thing goes on a lean, and so everyone's sliding across the deck.
It's very dramatic, lots of smoke, lots of lights, no fires, because the set itself is very flammable.
Because this whole set's made of fabric, all our explosions in this set are actually air mortars and flashbulbs.
I'm using lights to enhance the explosion. We've got wind machines throwing debris of burning Airhaven into the air, stunties falling off things. We've got commentators running through the chaos. So it's kind of a coordination of a whole bunch of technical and actor performances.
Airhaven was one of my favorite sets to work on. People have built this for this movie. It's crazy. You kind of want it to be there all the time, and people can just go there and walk around feeling like they're in the air. It was magical.
I've walked through the streets of Airhaven. They're fantastically beautiful and exactly as I'd imagined them.
Everything in the story is like a recycled, resurrected technology, but it's so much beyond what we know in our world today.